Niambi Ra. Welcome to High on Feminism, the pre-show. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited about this pre-show. We have some really cool products to talk about, but even better, we're about to bake some edibles, which I've been wanting to do this for forever. So yeah, I'm like, so excited. You also look fabulous. I love your apron and whole thing.
I tried to be on brand.
You look so stylish. So let's get into some of these brands so we can get started with cooking.
Okay.
So we sent you over a cute little goodie bag of things. So one of the products that we're working with is Itiba Beauty. I don't know if you had a chance to smell this lotion, but this lotion is like the best thing ever. Like the CARIBE lime, so awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. So the woman who makes this is from the Virgin Islands, so we just got this shipped up to us. The actual smell of it is like unbelievable. It definitely makes me think of Virgin Islands, the Caribbean. Yeah, don't want to get ashy, get the elbows, neck, skin, all that good stuff. So this is one of them. The other one we have is this really cool Stashlogix case. It's the SILVERTON. So this is created by Skip Stone. He's a father and he didn't want his kids to get into his weed. So he created this cute little lunchbox looking thing. It's completely smell proof. You can lock zippers. Kids don't get in them. They have them in a few different sizes. This one has 6 different individual compartments. As you see, I got your grinder you sent me.
Yes!
In the box, ready and waiting. So this is the hydrometer. It tells you the humidity of your weed. So when it's in there, whether it's too dry. And there's a really cool container, bamboo, for your blunt. Put that in there.
Oh, and the little tool thing for
to clean out your pipes. And then the last one is Empireglassworks. So this is my pipe. Which one did you get?
I have this. It's giving CARIBE lime. It's giving Sally sells seashells by the seashore. It's giving beach. It's giving starfish, fish, crowns. Or maybe those are jellyfish.
Yeah, they're so cool.
I like the color too because I guess it must be like sand.
Yeah, they have all different themes. This one is like an Arctic themed one. So it has like little penguins, polar bear on the back, little ice sculptures. Yeah, so I'm gonna take a hit of this. Yes.
Very nice. I'm definitely a pipe user, and I don't know if everybody is, but I'm a daily pipe user, so this is really awesome.
I like collecting them, getting different ones. I have like a cat, an alligator, a bunch of elephants, all of those.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I was on tour for a while, and so I would try to get them from cool cities too. But I don't know what's wrong with me, but a lot of my shit breaks. I think it's me though.
It's not you. I'm sure it just happens all the time. And then the other thing I have is the tincture that you made me. So I have the rum. Which one was this again?
The butter rum.
The butter rum, and then pineapple. Yeah, I really like the flavoring to them because some of them can taste really bland. So
okay, great.
They're super cool as well. So
that's awesome.
Awesome. And then of course you also dropped off this lovely jar of canna butter from your company. So the BlackStar Mothership, tell me about this brand and how you made this.
The brand started kind of from that photo in some ways. That was a photo that I had taken as an artist, as Niambi Ra. A lot of my brand in my music, you can hear the presence of the cannabis lifestyle and the medicinal properties of cannabis. And I also made edibles a lot. I have been into cannabis for majority of my life when I was like 13. So it's been a and I guess because of that, I have kind of naturally been able to make edibles. I was always making edibles, like my homie's here, she knows we've been making edibles like since we were in high school. And I guess at the end of last year, my partner, who's also a visual artist, decided to make this picture of me into a graphic design. Okay. And all together, kind of in a week, between her constantly letting me know that I should sell my edibles, and her making this image, that week it was like, all right, well, I guess I'm starting the Mothership. I made my page, and I started taking orders. So the Mothership is really not just about cannabis. It's a frequency. That's what the Mothership is. So you're gonna receive that through my cannabis edibles and connecting with different people's experiences with cannabis, because a lot of people have a lot of different experiences, and some of them have like shame connected to them, or just, you know, or danger sometimes connected to them. When people reach out to me on my page consistently, people want to tell me their stories. People tell me their stories of, like, you know, being someone that identifies as a woman, and their first relationship to cannabis being with a boyfriend. You know, how do you step out of that and decide as an independent woman and as an adult, I want to get into cannabis, but I don't even know who to ask the right question. You know, and I would have never thought about it, but I'm glad that I can become a resource for people, and that also people can see someone that looks like them. This is a Black-owned business as well. So it's something to say, you know, this is where I'm from and this is where I am, and I can do this.
I love that. Yeah, I started not at 13, but I started smoking at 15. And then I went through this phase in college where I couldn't be like in public when I was high. Like none of my friends wanted to be, it was embarrassing. And I think it was just because of my tolerance. And then once my tolerance got up, and over the last couple of years, I was just like, I'm kind of sick of everyone being like, oh, you smoke weed, like that's so taboo, you're lazy, you're a stoner. And I was just like, I run a fucking business and I get high all the time. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because even in like what I'm doing with the Mothership, I recently started this hashtag initiative, not a lazy stoner, because I'm also super into working out. I'm just super into living a good life holistically. So just kind of throwing that into my page too, just showing people how you can use cannabis to get your shit done. So yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're here. You know, like High on Feminism is really about just elevating women in general, you know, but predominantly women of color, and allowing them to kind of share their story on how they got to where they are, different things that they face that some people probably haven't, or some people have, and they're just like stuck in this, okay, I went through this really shitty point, how do I move forward? And then here's this person that may have gone through something similar and has now like rebuilt herself, you know? So yeah, this is really just like a platform for you guys to, you know, be able to have the opportunity to talk about what you're doing. I'm just along for the ride to help out. Like you said, there's different experiences when it comes to cannabis and CBD. And I don't think that there's enough education around it and what you can have as a product that has either or and still, you know, function. It's just making it a safer place to talk about cannabis versus, you know, it being so taboo and not wanting anyone to know that you smoke weed or whatever.
I feel that. That's very real. So I appreciate you creating the space.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show. I have an apron. Should I put my apron on too?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have? We're gonna be making Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay. And do you make these often? Like, is this one of the first things you like made when you started making edibles?
Actually, one of the first things I made before like the typical brownies and cookies, I started making coquito. I meant to put that out there. There's this company in New York that was doing this coquito, and I tasted it, and I was like, I'm gonna make this infused coquito. That was the first thing that I was selling, was my coquito. And then I started selling some cakes, and then this got really popular. And I wasn't making Rice Krispies before this at all, but people really like the Rice Krispies. So it is something that I make a lot. Let's go through everything first.
All right, so what are we doing first?
Okay, so my hands will look like this. What we're gonna be using here today, we're gonna be doing a infused Rice Krispie treat. And mine is actually gonna have cocoa Rice Krispie and regular. And we're gonna use about 8 cups.
Okay.
Rice Krispie. We're gonna be using, of course, our marshmallows. We're gonna be using 2 bags, 2 10-ounce bags each. This vanilla extract. This is actually vanilla extract I got in Mexico.
Oh, nice.
But you only need 3/4 teaspoon of this. And we have some salt. You're only gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon of this. And then, of course, we have my lovely canna butter, which takes about 2 hours to infuse. I use the Infusium 420 machine. This is what's inside of here, challenge butter. This is my favorite butter to work with. Outside of the ghee, which is also in here, clarified butter. So I use a combination of these two. This is a clarified butter, so it's pretty much a very, very clean butter. The fat is taken out of here and it attaches, it infuses, it helps to infuse the wheat very well. And so that's why I make sure to use a lot of this in every batch. I use about 1/2 of this to 1/2 of the regular butter. I could use all of this, but it's, you know, it's more expensive to get. So it's fine to do it this way as well. And then also the only other ingredient that's in here is a little bit of sunflower lecithin. That's also used for extraction. Okay. So it's just about a tablespoon of sunflower lecithin that I use, and that's infused together in here, and then I strain it out. Okay. And we really only need about a 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of the canna butter. So first things first, so how the Rice Krispie works is that once you get started, it kind of goes. Once the heat is on, it kind of gets going. Yeah. So I like to have this set up first because once it's hot, you want to have it to transfer to. Yeah. Just line it with the foil. And you can also use butter and go like this on there. I used to do that too. This is also fine. You're just trying not to get too thick. Just gonna do a little spray. But now what we're gonna do is get our butter ready. We're going to be pretty much moving to the stove now. We're gonna put this very, very low.
And you said that I should use about 3/4 of this jar, right?
Yeah, I gave you about a cup, so you're gonna use 1/2 to 3/4. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. And you wanna keep it low because you don't want your canna butter to be popping, you know, you don't wanna lose your THC. Pay attention to it. You want it to just kind of get right where it's, you know, more liquidy. You want it to be warming it. So that's why I'm moving it around. You're gonna need a strong arm for these Rice Krispies as well.
I got some.
And as you can see, okay, good. And right where it's kind of, how's yours looking?
Mine's looking pretty melted.
Looking pretty,
yeah.
Take it off the heat. Then what you're gonna do is bring in the marshmallows. So you have a full bag?
I do have a full bag, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna pour the full bag in.
Okay.
Ready? Let's go.
Okay, full bag going in.
So just kind of move that around with that 1 bag of marshmallows. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want you to take the rest of the other bags of the marshmallows that you have that are not set aside. We're gonna marry that a little bit. We're gonna move this around, just have a little fun. Because we want everybody to party with the greenery. And you should see your marshmallows like turning green a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely turning a different color.
Okay, good. Now I want you to get your 1/2 teaspoon out and your salt.
1/2 teaspoon of salt.
You're gonna put it in the pot. I really actually love the presence of salt in making sweet things because it really gives it kind of makes it stand up. It gives it its like life. Yeah, it's like that's what gives it that, you know, final little bite you need. Okay. I'm gonna go to 3/4 teaspoon of the vanilla. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll do a 1/2 of, you know, I just use a little bit of math and do a 1/2 of a teaspoon. Boom. And then I'll just do a 1/4. And if you want to put more vanilla, you actually really can. Like, it doesn't matter.
Vanilla is in.
We're gonna move this around just a little bit more, get it all happy in there, having a party. and we're gonna move it back onto the heat.
Okay.
And this is the kind of go part that I was talking about. You just want to pay attention.
Okay.
So I put mine on low, maybe a little bit above low. The goal is pretty much for all of this to melt down.
You said you've been smoking since you were 13.
Okay. Yeah, so the first time I smoked was when I was 13. I wasn't a kid that went to class high when I was in high school or anything. I went to a performing arts high school. We took our shit pretty serious there. So, depending on what we were working on production wise, I might not have smoked at all at some points in high school, but my first time was definitely when I was 13, and I definitely was a person in high school that knew about cannabis. This is the moment where we need to be watching our marshmallows. Keep moving it around. And you'll notice the marshmallows will stick a little bit, try to rub it off.
How do your parents feel about you smoking weed?
So both my parents are actually kind of both consider themselves Rastas. So I come from an artistic, cultural, Caribbean background, creative, alternative, holistic. That was how I was raised. I was younger, was sitting in the car with my parents in the back seat, listening to Bob Marley. I know every Bob Marley song because of this, and them passing a joint together. So that was a fond memory of mine. See, the thing about it was not that these things should really go together at all, but I was always on top of my shit, so no one ever really worried about me. I was just always one of those people,
Absolutely. I think as long as you're still getting shit done,
Yeah.
Why not enjoy yourself at the same time?
How's your marshmallows coming?
I think they're coming good. They're
good. Yours is looking pretty marshmallow fluff, right?
Yeah.
Just one whole thing, not marshmallow pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take that off the heat. You're gonna pour your Rice Krispies into your marshmallows. I need you to fold, okay? I need that arm to just fold it and mix it around. You want every piece of that Rice Krispie to be touching some of the marshmallows. That last 2 cups of marshmallows,
Okay.
that's gonna go in here.
Oh, okay.
Just gives a little, little action. I'm gonna keep moving it around.
Weird that my arm hurts.
I told you. Gonna take a little, but once it's done, it's so fun and it's really easy. This is pretty much it, because after this, you're just kind of gonna shape it. You're gonna start to move it over. Now, try not to put it all in one hump. I try to separate the humps a little. And that's why we have to have our pan with the foil ready, because the Rice Krispie has to have somewhere to go. And you're just gonna get it all over there. All I'm doing now is just making it into the shape.
Okay. What else can I use it on or in?
For the butter, anything you want to use butter on, honestly. You can use it on anything safe. It doesn't have to be sweet. It can be something savory. You can do an avocado toast or something.
Okay.
Do it on anything. That tincture too is really just oil, so you really can drop that in anything too. It has flavoring, but it's not sugar. And what you gonna do? Ain't nothing gonna happen to you if you put a little butter rum in your butternut squash. Hello? You gotta get creative with it, Recently, somebody got back to me and let me know she was putting her alcohol tincture in her kombucha. I said, well, there you go. So how's your thing? This is with mine. I actually, even if I'm not on here, I usually spend a good amount of time doing this because I like them to be even. This is kind of your moment of shaping it into exactly what you want it to be. That's why the foil is so good. That's why I use this, because when it's time to cut, you can just pick it up.
Yeah.
And put it on your board instead of having to worry about cutting it inside of here. I cut them into 12 pieces.
Okay. So a 9x13 pan, 12 pieces.
Yeah. I just suggest sometimes, cutting it earlier on than later, just so that it's easier to cut. And with the fridge and the freezer, just make sure you put it in an airtight container. And that's really it, sis. Okay.
Boom. So I'm definitely gonna give some of this away to friends so that I don't eat it all and freak out.
Yeah, I know you're gonna love it. Thanks.
All right, well, we're gonna go try some of these out, and we will chat with you tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow more about everything you're doing with your music and of course Mothership. So it'll be so exciting. But thank you again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys so much.